Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason here today of a solo playthrough for Fate of the Fellowship, a pandemic system game. This one is the brand new hotness as I record and post this in May of 2025. The pre-order for this one is currently live. I'll have a link to the Z-Man Games website in the show notes. You'll be able to get your game in late June. Or if you're watching this video after June, then you can pick this up wherever pandemic games are sold or enjoy your friend's copy. This one's a fully cooperative game for one of our players that recreates the entire Lord of the Rings saga that we know from those books that we read oh so long ago. We are going to be playing Frodo and Sam and Aragorn and Merry and Pippin, all of the familiar heroes. All those heroes are going to be going all around Middle-earth, fighting off the forces of Shadow, evading the Nazgul, trying to run interference while Frodo and Sam make their way into Mordor to destroy the One Ring in Mount Doom. Only we're doing it pandemic style, so the entire experience is condensed into a manageable game time. We got our hands of cards and the enemy deck. A lot is going to be familiar if you are familiar with the basic pandemic system, but there is a lot that has been layered on top of this to evoke that theme that we all know and love. So let's get into the overview of Fate of the Fellowship and dive into a full solo playthrough right after these channel announcements. We are the One Stop Co-op Shop, a multi-platform gaming empire, and your one stop for solo and cooperative gaming goodness. Alright, so let's get into an overview. I'll explain what you see here on the table. I'll explain winning and losing, and then I will get into the turn explanation as I start the game. Alright, first of all, you pick your characters. Yes, plural, characters. This is different than any other pandemic game out there because you pick multiple characters. In addition, one player must pick Frodo and Sam. The enemy deck interacts with Frodo and Sam, and just the whole motif of the game revolves around getting these two into Mount Doom and doing that role. And so you are going to have control of two pieces on the board. So you see Frodo and Sam right there, and I paired them with Aragorn. I've also picked the pair of Merry and Pippin and Éowyn for this adventure, but I had my choice of all sorts of different combinations. I could have gone with Gimli and Legolas. I could have thrown Gandalf and Faramir and Arwen in there. There's so many characters, including my favorite, Gollum. Yeah, good thing I didn't pick that because you would have heard that for the whole playthrough. The way it works is that on a player turn, you are going to get 5 total actions, 1 action with one character and 4 actions with the other. So they can be 4 actions Frodo with Sam and 1 with Aragorn, or 4 with Aragorn and 1 with Frodo and Sam. End of the turn, just like in Pandemic, you're going to draw your cards and then move on. Contrary to other pandemic games, there is only one way to lose Fate of the Fellowship, which is lose all of your hope and fall to despair. Now, there's a lot of bad things that can happen, but they all funnel into this hope track. As you can see over here, I have a gathering of 4 enemy troops. That doesn't happen in a regular game of Pandemic. Once you hit 3 of that explosion mechanism, here, they are just going to gather, and then the enemy deck is going to be moving them around, invading certain places. As they invade and conquer territory, I lose hope. If I have to put a troop out here and there's none in a supply, I lose hope. If the Eye of Sauron catches me at an inopportune time, I'm going to lose even more hope. You've probably figured it out by now. There are tons of ways to lose hope. There are a couple of ways to gain hope, and I'll get into that as I get into the playthrough. Not too many, though. I do need to manage this track in order to win the game and avoid falling into despair. In addition, I have my deck of 48 cards and some events that'll pop out of here. If I ever have to draw from here and I can't, I lose hope. Another thing that's going to funnel me into despair. All right, so what's going on with these cards? They correspond to the regions, not the individual locations like in other games, the regions. So I'm going to have cards that say Gondor, Rohan, Ithilien, etc. If 2 characters are on the same location and they are in where the region card is, they can trade freely. So that's something that you're going to want to do. However, this is not a set collection game. What you want to do in this game is coordinate your symbols. These 4 action symbols are the engine that makes this game go. For the most part, taking actions resembles a regular game of Pandemic. So, for example, movement is, you spend 1 action point and you move along 1 line. These lines are battle lines. that are relevant for troop movement, but for my movement, I can either move here or along the white lines. Doesn't matter to me. So that's just regular movement. However, if I am Frodo and Sam and I am in a region with Nazgul, look at these cool Nazgul figures. They do not occupy locations, but they are hovering in the region. If I were to move, then they search for me. So if I were to move here, then I would count up the number of Nazgul in the area and then take that number of dice and roll them. If I get these tree symbols, guess what? Lose hope. Also in this game, you can move with other characters. So like here is the Merry and Pippin character. So if it was their turn, I could move both of the characters or as many characters as are on the same space for one action. That's pretty cool. However, if I have Frodo and Sam with me, then I get the search roll. Unless I discard this travel card, then that would allow me to move to an area without triggering the search roll. So I would move here, discard this card, and I'm good to go. So let's check out some more of the actions. Let's say I was on one of these two spaces. Here is a dwarf citadel, and we have a dwarf figure right there, the gray, and also the Grey Havens, which is where the elves are kind of looming over the Shire, making sure we don't get in too much trouble. If one of my characters were on that particular colored space, then I could discard one of the heart cards in order to muster a troop. That is how I build up troops to eventually do battle with the shadow creatures. If you've played Pandemic Fall of Rome, the dice system is somewhat similar in terms of you bring your troops with your character and you attack a squad of their troops. You take as many dice as you have troops and you give them a roll. There are different faces, so they can take each other out or you could take them out, or the unfortunate, they can take you out. There's also a face where the Nazgul get to interact. You're not going to like that. I'll show all that as I get into the playthrough. As characters get into combat, I'm going to want to do that all over the board. Why? Because starting combat and killing the shadow minions over here is going to attract the attention of the eye. It's going to end up in this region. I'm going to try to keep this eye away from Frodo and Sam as much as possible. That will make sense in a couple of minutes when I show the enemy deck and the epidemic cards. We're talking about symbols now. So after I resolve a combat, then if I had this sword symbol, I can discard it and get rid of one extra troop. And also, if I discarded a ring, then I could re-roll one of these dice and perhaps save one of my troops. So as you can see, there's plenty that you can do in the game, but you want to be able to coordinate your symbols in order to do the advanced versions of those actions and really get ahead. And finally, to help with the hand management, because just like in Pandemic, your hand is 7. That's going to fill up really fast because you draw 2 cards at the end of every turn. At a haven spot, which is the yellow square right here, I can discard a card. Does not have to match the region. The regions are more about trading. I can only trade within regions. But in terms of gathering strength, then I can discard any symbol. I discard the card. Let's say I want to discard this ring. Then I would get a token of the same, and I can pile these up. These are static resources. So as my hand kind of rises and falls with the discards and everything, I can build up tokens and have actions available to me at a more steady state through the tokens. And you're going to need lots of symbols because in addition to buffing your actions, sometimes the symbols will be necessary to travel between spaces. So in order to go between Emyn Muil and North Ithilien, I need to discard a ring card. In order to penetrate into the depths of Mordor, I need to discard multiple symbols, cards, or tokens of travel. And finally, if I'm able to make it all the way into Mount Doom, then I would need to discard 5 rings, whether cards or tokens. So definitely going to spend some time building up my ring tokens. Get here, make one last search roll, depending on how much hope I am missing. And if I'm able to survive that, that is how I will win the game. At the end of every player turn, once you have resolved your 5 actions to your fullest, you're going to pick 2 cards, and then you are going to pass turn, but then the enemy is going to go. And there is a wrinkle here. For the most part, it works similar to base Pandemic in that you're going to play 2 of these cards, then 3, then 4 as the threat level rises, but the reading of them is a little bit different. Okay, I'm going to pull 1 card, and then I'm going to consult the back of the enemy deck. There are two different backs. Sometimes we're going to have the flag up top, and sometimes we're going to have the flag on the bottom. The flag up top is going to say move troops. So you do the top half of the card. So in this particular case, if there are troops in a line between these two areas, Dunland and Riverdale, we are going to move all those troops and trigger battles and sack cities depending on what happens and where the troops land. And then for the next pull, it just so happens that I have this black card. I'm going to be executing the bottom half. That is how troops get added. So there will always be a place where they add, so Isengard or Ruin or whatever place. And also it's going to manipulate this eye token. And the Nazgul are going to fly around. That is how the game makes sure that the Nazgul and the eye remain a threat to Frodo and interrupt him whenever he tries to move. Y'all know how Pandemic games work. In this standard game, I have shuffled in 5 different, what they call Skies Darkened cards, which are the Epidemic cards from basic Pandemic. Gonna do most of the same things. It is gonna add some troops. No explosions, just more troops to add. But the real kicker here is the eye is going to look for Frodo. If the eye is in Frodo's region, lose 2 hope, which is a huge blow. Otherwise, move the eye there. So as I showed previously, when you initiate combat, you draw the attention of the eye. There's also other things that you can do. Powers here and there will let you draw the attention of the eye. So Frodo is going to try to not be where the eye is for the most of the game so that I can preserve my hope. And then same thing as normal Pandemic. I shuffle the discard pile, put that on top of the deck, and then the troops and the Nazgul are going to flood around, increasingly accelerating over time. So there is a bunch of other little things to get into, like symbol explanations, things of that nature. I'm going to save that for the playthrough, but I could not let this overview go without showing you one more thing. Look at that. Here is the snazzy dice tower that you construct out of cardboard that comes in every package. You can throw your enemy search dice or your combat dice in here. It'll pop right out. And also in terms of storage, the base does come off, so you can store the base and the tower and this little top piece pretty well within the box. I am not going to use this thing during the playthrough because it is awkward for camera's sake, but know that you are getting this snazzy Eye of Sauron dice tower with your Lord of the Rings package. All right, it is time. Let's go save Middle-earth. All right, so let's check out these objectives. They really guide you through the game for what especially to prioritize. First one is attain the blessing of the elves. There are 3 of the elven troops in reserve, so there's only 2 that are available to be recruited. The rest are locked out, so we're going to want to release them. How do we do that? At Rivendell, which is pretty close to the Shire, a character spends 3 heart while at least 1 other character is present. So not player, character. So like 1 player could take their 2 characters to Rivendell and get that done as long as they have 3 hearts. When it is completed, put the troops on this card immediately into supply. Each player with at least 1 character at Rivendell gains a heart, love that, and gain 1 hope, love that too. In sequence, the next one I'm going to want to complete is Sauron, your staff is broken. So at Isengard, I put 2 additional troops. There's plenty of troops marshaled at Isengard. You'll see that when I go to the board. In order to complete, I have to free Rohan of Shadow Troops and Shadow Strongholds. You all know what those are. I also have to turn Isengard into a haven. That is an action called Capture. I did not go over that. I'll go over it here. So this is the haven token, kind of a safe spot. So fewer dice affect characters that are in havens, and I can also gather resources there. In order to do so, I need to be on a enemy stronghold and spend 3 of my swords. I have to have a troop there, and there can't be any enemy troops there. So that's pretty hard to do. I might only get 1 of these, maybe 2 throughout the game. And also, as a reward, the current player may gain 1 ring token from the supply, which doesn't sound like much, but considering that rings are the win condition, probably going to use this very ring when I throw stuff into Mount Doom. Next up is Challenge Sauron. Gotta say, this one is the most cinematic of the objectives. So I need to have a character go to North Ithilien, which is right next to Mordor, with these troops marshaled. So we have 3 Rohirrim, 3 elves, and 3 from the Men of Gondor. If I'm able to do that and take an action at North Ithilien, then I would shift the eye to Ithilien, and I may move every shadow troop in Mordor to Udin, which is right across the border, kind of one stop away. So marshaling for a big battle. You will see that as I play through. It is pretty cool. In addition, completing that objective helps me complete this objective, which is to destroy the One Ring. So I get to clear out Mordor, revealing the paths, and allow Frodo to sneak through and spend 5 rings in order to trigger the final search roll. So this is a special search roll. I would pick up 1 die for every character, Nazgul or shadow creature that is nearby. Also, for every hope I am missing. So I don't roll that on any other roll except for this last one. So if I'm down a bunch of hope, I'm going to be rolling a bunch of these extra dice, 7 maximum. If I can do that, I win the game. All right, the game begins. We have 2 Nazgul that are flying around, as well as the Eye of Sauron looking for Frodo. Can't do much about that this turn. Let's go ahead and get a setup turn going. The Nazgul do not care about any other characters besides Frodo and Sam and the One Ring they carry. So Strider, this part of the game, is going to move pretty freely. They are going to heed the call at Rivendell. Sorry about that, Nazgul. That's one thing about this game. This is so cool and so evocative, but it can get in the way sometimes. Anyway, so we are now at Rivendell, and we are going to start gathering and mustering. So leave token over here is just to keep track of which character I am controlling, no other game effect. I have a hand of cards with 1 of each card. So let's go ahead and start getting ourselves together. So first of all, we're going to discard this card, this ring, and give ourselves a token, clearing out our hand. So to be clear, and the rules stay this explicitly, so even though Aragorn is the one that is discarding, Frodo and Sam have full access to this pile. So Aragorn could be somewhere in Dale or wherever, generate resources, and Frodo and Sam in Mordor can use those resources on those very same turns. Don't think about it too hard. It's just a game. All right, well, we're going to prepare Aragorn for battle some more because their player powers are battle-oriented. So, Capital of the West, if Aragorn is present at a battle, move up to 2 different shadow troops from his location for each one of those particular results rolled instead of +1. So a little bit more efficient at killing shadow folks. And also when I complete an objective, they can use an action to just kill somebody. So Anduril, they unsheath it, and then it's like they just fall over dead from fright. Frodo and Sam have powers as well. They're not relevant right now. I'll get into those a little bit further in the playthrough. Let's prepare Aragorn for battle. Okay, so let's discard this heart. That's our third action to get another troop. And for Aragorn's final action with this extra troop, they are going to move with both troops. The Dunlin group is likely to invade Rivendell, or at least that is a possibility out of the card. So let's go ahead out and meet them where they are. Frodo and Sam have a go. They are at a haven, so they are going to discard a card in order to get themselves a sword. So that is preparation for later. Only 1 card left, but I'm feeling good about my growing token pile. So at the end of the turn, this is my pull. We get another sword. Swords are good for that second objective, the Saruman objective. Also, Rohan lends horses event. Played anytime, not an action. Select a location. Any characters in that location may travel together up to 3 times, not bringing troops. That's pretty good, but if Frodo travels, I'm going to have to spend those searches. So use that on another character if they need to get to a part of the board. I'll hold on to that. The threat level is 2, so let's go ahead and pull 2 cards. So we have the flag. So we have movement out of Nirn towards Helm's Deep. So how movement works is that you use the card to find the 2 places that are the origin and destination. So we have Nirn and Helm's Deep. They'll show you the arrow on the card, which is relevant. So starting with the most advanced group, you move them forward 1. Yes, they are going to all leave their spawn points, and they also leave friendly troops because they want to conquer these areas. So they will disengage and eventually try to make it to Helm's Deep or conquer it, or they might get swept up in another offensive. The next card, I'm going to fire off the bottom power. So it is +1 in a rune. And also move 2 Nazgul closer to Frodo. Select from those closer to him outside his region if tied to player's choose. This would be move 1 space. So we choose the closest. The one that is circling around Rivendell has gotten the scent. They are going to be chasing down Frodo and Sam. And now I can choose either the one in the Misty Mountain or Gondor because they're 2 away. Let's go ahead and move the Nazgul one It's a tough choice because Aragorn wants to fight. Fighting in an area with a Nazgul opens up another bad face of the die roll. I show it to you right now. If a Nazgul is present, then I lose 2 of my troops, which is a terrible thing. That is 1 side out of 6. If there's no Nazgul, then this has no effect. But if I put that Nazgul here, then that interrupts my path to Rivendell. I know I'm going with Frodo and Sam and Merry and Pippin to Rivendell eventually. So it's so important to keep the Nazgul away from Frodo and Sam in particular. Let's go ahead and put them in Enderwait. So I'm just going to have to live with the possibility of a bad roll from Aragorn. All right, it is now time for Merry, Pippin, and Éowyn to go. Merry and Pippin, they are very much support characters. As an action once per turn, they can just gain 1 heart token from the supply without discarding anything. I will usually do that. Hearts are really good for a number of reasons. So let's just go ahead and get Merry and Pippin's action out of the way. So I'm going to do the 1 action with Merry Pippin and then 1 action with Éowyn. Éowyn is really good in Gondor, which is where she starts. When Éowyn musters in a horse location, which they're all in Gondor, you do not need to spend hearts. So, and there is no specification that says once per turn. If it'll say once per turn, so like, action once per turn. Éowyn, as long as she is in Gondor, she could just muster away. She starts in Edoras. She is going to go to Helm's Deep. Don't mind if I do. Men of the realm, do not listen to that decrepit old king. Follow me. I will lead you to victory.
It looks like the humans are spoiling for a fight. Let's give them one.
So I did not discard any cards. So you see how full their hand can get. I'm already up to 6 out of 7. So we have Dale and Mirkwood. A little bit of symbol diversity there. Won't say no to that. 2 threat cards. We are getting some troop movement. We are going to go from Nirn to Minas Tirith. That would be this yellow line right here. There is only 1 set of troops. This group that was originally in Nirn, woohoo! They are on their way. And we usually get a top and a bottom because they backs are evenly distributed. So we have +1 in Nayar Hadad. I assume that is Nayar because it's Lord of the Rings. All right. Well, unfortunately, I get this effect again. Move 2 Nazgul closer to Frodo. Select 1 from closest to him. So they are more of the Nazgul going to collapse. Nayar Harad is right there below Mordor. Don't believe we ever went there in the books, at least the canon ones. And we have looming Nazgul. Now, during rolls, I would have to spend 4 tokens in order to move, or spend 4 dice in order to roll. That'd be no good. And this Nazgul is going to come up to Rohan. Hopefully, this character can get into the Misty Mountains away from this Nazgul. Or maybe Éowyn's power is, if Éowyn is present when a battle is rolled, remove 1 Nazgul in a region from the game for each of those die rolls. So she is the one that actually wants to hunt Nazgul because she is no man. So if I can draw these troops out here and get into this fight while this Nazgul is here, that might be a little bit too much to ask for, but that would be really cool. All right, so I'm very close to a Skies Darken card, so that would be bad because the eye is in Frodo's area. All right, so let's go ahead and make a distraction and kill some shadow troops as we go along the way. So Aragorn is going to take his 2 elven troops and go up against these shadows. Good thing it is Aragorn, so he's a little bit better at fighting. So I have 2 troops. I roll 2 dice. All right. So, okay, that worked out pretty good. So that's the Nazgul roll. So the Nazgul are not present because of card luck. And I also got this symbol because that's good. We get rid of 2. Aragorn is on the case. So that attracts the eye. So if I get the Skies Darken card right now, then I will not trigger the loss of hope. The eye just goes towards Frodo. I might roll again, but that might lose me a precious troop. So let's just go ahead and do the main battle, which is going to be 3-4, taking the troops into Isengard. Moving in does not trigger a battle, and that needs to be an action. But I am ready to meet up with Fair Éowyn. That leaves 1 action for Frodo and Sam. They are going to hightail it. So they are going to use the 1 travel cloak that I have and move with Merry and Pippin 1 space, not triggering the search roll. That will be 4 dice. No thank you. All right, let's go ahead and pick our cards. Yep, there it is. Skies Darken. I did get another travel cloak, though. That's going to be really key to get out of this pickle that I'm in. But let's go ahead and do all the Skies Darken things. First of all, the threat goes up 1. I still pull 2 cards on enemy turns. I would have lost 2 hope. However, the battle over here distracted the eye, so now they are, what? I see what you're trying to do. Oh, I'm sorry. I should go a little bit deeper, right?
I see what you are trying to do.
Actually, did Sauron talk? Memory's a bit hazy. Unfortunately, the third part is not good news. Add 3 troops to Tharbad right here. I'm not planning on going that way, but having them mill around where my characters are not ready to conquer these havens and lose my hope that way, that's not great. And we shuffle the discard into or on top of the deck. These 2 cards get shuffled in there. One of them is add 1 shadow troop to every shadow stronghold in Mordor, so that's going to build up. And then the Wheels of Saruman is a variety of effects. You'll see that when I pull that card. All right, let's check it out. Oh, looks like we're going to see it right now. The Wheels of Saruman, Break Oath. So I choose 1. Break Oath, move any 2 friendly troops from the board. Doubt, a single player must discard a total of 2 player cards. No, that's not happening. Despair, lose 1 hope. I'm about to complete an objective that will gain me 1 hope, so the losing 1 hope shouldn't be too bad at all. And we have the bottom side. We're going to add 1 to Rune and move to Nazgul closer to Frodo. This one that's been just sauntering along, taking their sweet time. And there are also 4 of these in Mordor, so they are finally going to be a little bit more unleashed. And just in case you're wondering, I have been doing this. There are a lot of troops stacking up in Rune. Unfortunately, as much as Eowyn is spoiling for a fight, we're going to have to do stuff a little bit different. Okay, so this is the Merry Pippin / Eowyn turn. Merry and Pippin are going to take the 4 actions this time. Let's go ahead and get rid of this cloak in order to be able to move to the Weather Hills without triggering a search roll. I'm going to take another move with Sam and Frodo outside of the zone. As long as my destination zone doesn't have any Nazgul in it, then I am good to go. And I am now at Rivendell. Number 3, taking advantage of the fact that I got dealt these 3 hearts, let's just go ahead and get rid of those cards right now and attain the blessing of the elves. So now we have the full complement of elves in the supply, which is now 4, 5 total, at least the beginning of the game. What else do I get? Each player with at least 1 character in Rivendell may gain 1 heart token from supply and gain that 1 hope that I'd mentioned before. And so my hope is now at full, and I also have hearts for these characters. And then the last action, Merry and Pippin are going to get another heart. With their loyal friend action, hearts are just really, really good for recruiting purposes and for others. So let's go ahead and stock up on that. Look, lads, that wasn't so bad. And we're here among the elves. They have breakfast, sausage, bread, delicious bread. We could stay here forever. I don't think staying here forever is in the cards for me. Whew. Eowyn has 1 action. They are spoiling for a fight. They can't have it this turn, but at least they can put themselves in the way just in case I'm covered twice. Either Aragorn is going to initiate that fight or Eowyn is going to do it. Either way, Isengard is almost mine. Isengard. What's the difference? All right, so we have Eriador, this card that is a travel card, and also Eagles, play event. Move 1 character to any location. That includes flying Frodo straight to Mount Doom. They thought of that. Frodo's moved this way, move the 7 closest Nazgul directly into his region and do a search. Eagles are powerful, but the one thing they are not is stealthy. All right, let's go ahead and resolve some more cards. We have some troop movement out of Nirn towards Helm's Deep. We've seen that card before. We know where that's going eventually. And more troop movement, but it actually isn't troop movement. It is the Drums of War. Add 1 shadow troop to every shadow stronghold in Mordor. Shadow strongholds are very specific. They're these jagged lines over here. So we are going to get 1, 2, 3 more troops with more to come. All right, now we are going to engage in some glorious battle. So first of all, I have completed an objective. So I have unlocked Anduril, the magical sword. Mythic sword? I'm not sure. The boundaries are thin. Once per turn, if at least 1 objective has been completed, remove 1 shadow troop from Aragorn's location. Don't mind if I do. Still do not feel great about my odds. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 1, 2. We can bring anybody we want, troops and characters, and we are going to siege Isengard. Woohoo! So I only roll 3 dice, even though I have all sorts of troops here because I can only do so much. Let's see what I can do. All right, so we have gotten rid of all 3 of these, and at the cost of 2 of our troops, but Eowyn is okay with that. They are her people. They are going to the Happy Halls or something, the Happy Hunting Grounds. I'm not sure. Anyway, Isengard is ours for the taking if I can get 1 more sword.
Saruman, have you failed me? I am here to witness your failure.
Why did you send me the bad troops, Sauron? I wanted Uruk-hai! So let's speed up the process a little bit with our young hobbits over here. Unfortunately, we have to leave second and third breakfast in order to get going. Rohan lends horses to get over to Lohan and select the location. Any characters in that location may travel up 3 times. I may not bring troops if Frodo travels this way. I do roll searches. So, unfortunately, when I hit here, then I will trigger a search. So, I regret not killing that thing because that is going to add a die as well as that Nazgul. So, we are going to go ahead and roll 2 dice. We have 1 loss of hope and this Eye of Sauron, which means that the Nazgul that is here is going to get called back to Mordor to bedevil me in the future. But I can move the rest of the way. That is 3. They have an action and they are going to end up in Helm's Deep. Hopefully some nice preparation will happen next turn. That is the state of my personal resources. So we go ahead and pull 2 cards. We have the swords that I need. That's great. And Rohan. 2 more. So from the bottom, we add 1 to Nirn again. Oh my God. That's There are a ton of troops over there. And shift the eye to Frodo's region. Come on. Oh, well, that couldn't have lasted forever, so we are going to shift that eye over to Rohan. Hopefully we can get some battles elsewhere to get that eye away from us. Next one is a troop movement. We're going from Moria to Erebor. We're talking Battle of 5 Armies type stuff that we are trying to set up. Erebor is all the way over here. Kind of a sideshow, but if the enemy were to capture one of these areas, that would lose me hope, which drew us back to the core of the game. Friend Strider, who seems so foul, yet feels so fair, would you like my help securing the land? Milady, I'm flattered, but your ears are not pointy enough for me. Go secure the hobbits. I shall, but here, take Winston. Aye, aye, sir. Ma'am. All right, so let's go ahead and consolidate some troop movement. So she is going to take all 4 of these troops. And we're going to do multiple things at once. We are going to get the hobbits closer to Mount Doom and also set ourselves up for the Challenge Saruman objective because I need 2 of these Elven troops and 2 of the Rohan troops. All right, so that was 1, 2. Everyone could move at once, so let's get Conga. 3. Can I move? Of course. This is just a spectral eye. It doesn't actually have any real-world effect. Only shadow troops and a Nazgul trigger the search roll. So let's get out of the area with the eye, just in case I get an early Skies Darken, which is in range. I've counted the cards a little bit, so I might get one of those. So now we are all going to end up in Druadan Forest. We're having a good time playing our pipe and eating our breakfast and being loyal friends. Action once per turn. Gain 1 heart token from the supply. That's their 1 action. Eowyn had her 4. End turn. All right, let's see if I get a Skies Darken. I do not get a Skies Darken. Instead, I get Rohan and Endawaith. So some symbol diversity. I like it. And I still have eagles just in case I need to pop into Mount Doom. All right, so let's go ahead and resolve these. We have some troop movements out of Umbar towards Helm's Deep. Umbar is down here on the lowest end, and I follow the purple arrow. So the purple arrow goes right through South Assylian, so they are going to move forward. Looks like a big battle is going to happen at Minas Tirith. And we have 1 troop that is going to come up here. Opening skirmish. So when the shadow troops initiate combat, Sauron is happy so they don't have to move their eye, which is good for me in this particular case. Also, they are the attackers, but regardless, they are going to roll 2 dice, even though it's kind of bad for them. I guess that's keeping with hero laws and all that kind of thing. So we have this. We basically have a wipeout. All of these characters are dead, including Ericus the Blue over here. For Gondor! Death! That was just one card. So we have the bottom card of... I'm not doing this on purpose. More eyes on Rune, and we shift the eye to Frodo's region. So the eye is going to head into Gondor. Rune has 9 total troops. If they ever decide to move, they'll be devastating. It'd be hilarious if they didn't move the entire game. So Aragorn and Winston are going to use their 1 action, but boy, what an impactful action it is. They are going to have 2 cards and my token. That is going to go bye-bye, and we are going to turn Isengard into a haven. Woo!
Saruman, your failure has been unspeakable.
And I also gained 2 hope out of that. I've had some decent rolls, so I haven't lost too much hope, but now I'm at full regardless. And the other thing that happened is I get this objective. All right, Isengard is a haven. Rohan is free of shadow troops and strongholds. When completed, the current player may gain 1 ring token from the supply. So we have 2 out of the 5 rings that I need. We also have a card. So I am getting really close, but the game is kind of gating me because I need to wait for the cards to come in order to get the relevant rings together. Because I have time, because I'm clear, let's just go ahead and move with Frodo and Sam. They're going to go 1, 2 to down to Dol Amroth and bring these troops back. So we now have a nice, mighty marshal. I'm not afraid of Dol Amroth getting invaded or anything like that. The path through there is Umbar, and that's pretty clear, thanks to brave Ericus right there. Ner Harad is also a problem, but I think I can get them through here. So we're going to have a nice bottleneck where if this troop tries to move, that troop tries to move, I'll be ready with a lot of my own troops here in Ithilien. It's the current state of my resources. I'm going to go ahead and pick 2 cards. We have Gondor Heart and Orc Infighting. I may remove 2 of the shadow troops from any one location. That might be Rune or the bunch of orcs over there. We'll see what happens. All right, we get the bottom +1 in Dunland. Dunland is all the way up near Rivendell. And move 2 Nazgul closer to Frodo. So it is inevitable that Nazgul are going to appear, but I did get a chance to make a lot of moves between now and then. So we have Nazgul that are going to collapse around Minas Tirith. And we are going to get some troop movement out of Moria towards Minas Tirith. Oh man, melee coming. Speaking of melee, look at that. It follows the yellow arrow out of Moria, the move the first troops along. So would have been nice had I made it 1 more space over here. Did not have the action economy, so we're just going to have this opening skirmish before the big battle. Let's see what we get. Hopefully we don't get a Nazgul roll. We do not get a Nazgul roll. However, we do lose 1 troop. They lose 2. Gondor, you have earned the respect of all living men. And women! Also have more troop movement. There's Moria. So we are going to have more troop movement down. We'll see if these orcs end up mattering. Who knows? All right, back at the party. The hunting party. We are moving to Minas Tirith. We're moving with Frodo, even though we have all these people around. The Nazgul don't care. They are still going to hunt me down. I have 1 of them, so I roll 1. Of course. There is this face. Well, these are the 2 faces that don't count. There's also this face. So if I had moved into the Haven and rolled this face, I wouldn't have gotten the loss of hope. But I'm not so lucky. So the funny thing is, I have 3 Gondor troops, 2 these Elven troops, and 2 Rohirrim troops. That is exactly what I need in order to do the challenge Sauron objective, and then set myself up for the very last objective. However, I don't have the 5 rings, so I'm not ready. I need to take a couple of turns and marshal up a bit. Oh, they do need to go to North Ithilien, which I had enough actions to go 2, 3 action. Gonna hold off on that. Instead, let's just go ahead and resource up. Mary and Pip are going to use their one action for the turn and get themselves another heart. And let's also go ahead and use 2 of these travel cards to get 2 travel icons, just in case I need to take one of these characters into Mordor with Frodo and Sam. Might as well stock up on resources. We are going to go ahead and give ourselves a ring. No, I cannot share resources or cards. It has to be 5 on Frodo and Sam's, but the ring is useful for a reroll and other little effects, so just nice to have. I have a Athelian and Endwater, a sword, and a heart. Let's go ahead and take care of this. We have some troop movement. Isengard to the Grey Havens. This is a kind of a circuitous route, if I may say so. So this is where the luck of the game is actually very much with me this game. All of those troops that are added to the board, in a normal game, they would have been kind of frittered about, so there would have been some troop movement. But since so many got added to Rune and no arrows are coming in and out of that place, it's just pretty clear. Nothing really happens. And oh, by the way, if this was a black flag and I would have had to add a troop in Isengard, that wouldn't have happened because it is now my haven. So that's another incentive to get things captured. We have another set of troop movements from Dunland to Helm's Deep. Winston, don't be a baby. I got your back. I got your back! Woohoo! Remember, Aragorn has the power when they roll one of those symbols. 2 of these guys get obliterated. Oh, I lived? Am I in the Grey Havens right now? Nope, you're still alive. Stick with me, kid.
What did you say your name was? Winston, hey?
Oh, get me out of here. Well, it's our turn. We just used 2 actions, so we might as well use the next ones. So we're going to go 3. And the question is, sure. So it doesn't cost me a resource. It would cost me a heart to recruit. But instead, let's go ahead and recruit this guy who's fairly useless and bring them into the fray eventually. So that was 4 actions for Aragorn, which leaves 1 action for Frodo and Sam. What they are going to do is they are going to gather resources at a Gondor space. So I haven't had a chance to use this. I'm glad I can use it now. So what's going to happen is we are going to have Elrond support once per turn. Frodo prepares. If he's at a haven in the region named on a card, also gain 1 heart token from the supply. Double your pleasure, double your fun. Also, the reason I want to stock up on heart tokens is Sam's aid. I know I'm going to go for a big hope roll at the end, however that shakes out. So, whenever a search is rolled, I may spend hearts to ignore the same number of these despair-generating symbols. So now I have 3 hearts. I'm protected against at least 3 despair markers, which is really good. All right, the sky's going to darken on me? Yes, the sky's going to darken on me. And I also got Harrod wife. Oh boy, that's sorry about that pronunciation. Finally, we get this thing. Okay, first of all, the threat grows. And now I'm going to be pulling 3 cards a turn.
Winston, I have affairs elsewhere, but don't forget me.
Yep. Oh, is he going to come back anytime soon? I hear he likes rings. I see that you're wearing a nice wedding ring over there. Perhaps you should give it to me, and I'll be able to take it instead. Here! Just kidding. More out-of-the-way troops, but they might just come in pouring in, especially when they have the increased number of cards they pull. So 3 in Southern Mirkwood, and we're going to shuffle all those discards and deal again. So I did end up getting both of those specialty cards, so that the more damaging ones. So we are going to see those again and again and again. All right, shuffle, and now we get 3 cards. Pfft. Drums of War. Add 1 shadow troop to every shadow stronghold in Mordor.
Hey boys, looks like there's gonna be a challenge from the humans. Challenge!
That's more goblin and orc, isn't it? Second, we have the bottom. Are you kidding me? Plus to Nirn, that is unbelievable. Oh, wait a minute. That is not Nirn, that is Rune. That is not Rune, that's Nirn. Nirn is the last citadel in Mordor. I may hear from that one. Okay. Shift the eye towards Frodo's region. If it's already there, roll a search. There are a bunch of cards that bring Nazgul over to where the eye is. That's another bit of luck that I've had. I haven't rolled that. All right, so we get a search, and the search is blank. And last card of 3, the bottom again, +1 at Moria. Shift the eye to Frodo's region. I'm not getting Nazgul. I will take it. So I added the troop to Moria. They are sitting right there alone, and I am getting some decent luck on rolls, although I did have a 50-50 chance of escape. Actually, I had a 66% chance of escaping a bad thing, so don't feel too bad about that. All right, time to press the fight. I am not ready for this, or Frodo and Sam are not ready for this, but events are pushing me. So first things first is go ahead and discard a card with Eowyn. So this is the Eowyn turn. They are going to get themselves one token of swords. Second is we are going to do it. So we're going to go 2, and we are going to split off. Eowyn is going to take the troops this way. So we have all of the troops that I need. So that is the third action. Fourth action, let's go ahead and challenge Sauron. Complete if a character spends an action in North Ithilien, which they are at, with those troops which they have. When completed, shift the eye to Ithilien. Shift the eye to Ithilien! Ah! Oops. And move every shadow troop in Mordor to Udun. Actually, I missed that part, so let's go ahead and just retcon that. Doesn't affect things. We're going to leave Frodo, Sam, and Merry and Pippin in minus Tirith. Because the eye is leaving. It is going to Ithilien. I have to deal with it anyway, but I'd rather have not be in range of getting that doom hit. All right, so we have completed that last of our objectives before the destroy the eye. All of these troops are going to mass in Udun. They are getting ready for a fight.
Fight, 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 fight.
Die! Actually, you know what? I'm just going to have to brave it. So let's retcon the retcon. Get back into the position that I was in, and then do the thing that I was going to do, which is move, get myself ready with Merry and Pippin. The 4 hobbitses are going to invade Mordor by themselves. There is one search. Hopefully I don't get, I got the bad thing. That's A. And B, hopefully I don't get a Skies Darkened right now, which is possible. All right, let's see if I get that Skies Darkened. I do not. I get Misty Mountains. Oh, okay, I got the Travel Cloak. I can use that. And Lumber Spread. Should we share the Lumber Spread? You know, you two, it's only good if you eat it without your sausage and your biscuits and all the other stuff that you brought in your big packs. Not eat the sausage? Well, what are we supposed to do with it? Well, I guess Merry and Pippin do not want 2 more actions on their turn if they decide to do something. So that's going to come in handy. Let's check it out. Remember, people, the threat level is 3. Okay, the Wheels of Saruman. Choose one of the following. Break Oath. Remove any 2 friendly troops. Discard 2 cards. Nope. Lose 1 hope. That stings a little bit harder because I don't have a lot of ways to get hope back. These Nazgul are really, really tired of waiting. Nom, 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 nom. Dragons feed. Oh! Elves and dwarves going to have to wait more turns to get together. What's coming up next? We have the bottom, +1 in Rune. Yep, that's the one. Oh my God. 11 troops over there. What are they going to do? And also move 2 Nazgul closer to Frodo. That's not the worst thing in the world because Frodo is about to leave the area. Let's go ahead and draw them out of Mordor. I can take them from wherever I want as long as there's a tie. So less Nazgul in Mordor, the better. We did that. We're being distracting. La, 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 la. And the last one, we have more troops in Duneland. So Dunland is close to Rivendell. Let's see if they can make it there before the end of the game. And more moving Nazgul closer to Frodo. Come into my trap, Nazgul. Although the way I have it set up right there, that is quite intimidating. Perhaps Merry and Pippin shouldn't be laughing so much. All right, it is the Frodo, Sam, and Aragorn turn. First, we'll do the one action with Aragorn. Winston, who is your comrade in arms over here? Oh, I can speak for myself. My name is Churchill. You're kidding me. Are you both ready to ride to glorious death? Oh, not really. We're kind of winning over here. Think again. So check this out, people. I thought I was being so clever, but I have to enforce the rules on myself. Okay, so my big plan was to use 4 actions with Frodo in order to pass through here for 2, get to minus Morgul, pass through here for 1, get to the plane of Golgoroth, I think that is, go to Barad-dûr and go to Mount Doom. That requires paying the 2 over here, but it is Frodo and Sam's go. They cannot use the resources on Merry and Pippin's sheet. Merry and Pippin would have to use these on their turn, and then Frodo and Sam could continue the way. So, because it is Frodo and Sam's turn, they're stuck with 6 Nazgul in their space. Good Lord, that is just not going to cut it. Oh my God. So I'm absolutely kicking myself for that goof. Unfortunately, as you can see, there's just no other way into Mordor, and there's no real paths. I mean, I can go to Osgiliath, but that doesn't do anything. Going down takes me away from Mordor. That is not going to do anything either. Ugh, boy, did I really bone myself. I hope I don't pay for it. So we are just going to have to go to Plan B. What did I tell you, Churchill and Winston? To death! 1, 2. Wait a minute. Oh, no, this way. 1, 2. Into Southern Mirkwood. With our last action, we are going to initiate combat. Glorious combat. So we are going to roll 2 dice and get no result whatsoever. They're outside of the haven, so they end up both dying. Why did you do that, Aragorn?
Did you kill my second chosen son, Winston, on a useless mission?
Useless, eh? You're here, aren't you?
Brrr.
All right, I am in range for A Skies Dark, and I'm in range for A Skies Dark, and that is what happens. All right. Well, this is why I did it, or this is why I wasted Churchill and Winston's lives. So I would have lost 2 hope. Otherwise, the eye moves back towards Frodo.
I feel manipulated by the humans. This does not feel good.
Huh? Human blood being spilled? More human blood!
3 to Adorwinian, which is a city that I've never heard of in my life. The threat level is at 3. Next time it is going to rise to 4. Hopefully I don't do so bad. And that was an early one, so there's not that many cards in there whatsoever. So I'm going to see the same ones again. All right, so we got 1. Oh, there we go. The Wheels of Saruman. You know what's going to happen. Aragorn, we can help you. Yes, we can help you defend the Mirkwood. Sorry, dwarf and elf. Duty calls. You're supposed to be the savior of man. Savior of man, wink wink. Ugh. Drums of War. Add 1 shadow troop to every shadow stronghold in Mordor. It was nice and empty. Too bad. You'll see that when I pan the camera back over there. And the last one, we have the troop movement. We are going to go from Rune. Wow, things are actually going to move from Rune towards the Woodland Realm. The havens are undefended. Go get them! Ah! Dun 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 dun. Perhaps I should have treated my troops a little bit better. I'm in trouble. So here's why I've been building up hearts, and I kept Merry and Pippin close to Frodo and Sam. Give us a song. If Merry and Pippin are in Frodo's location, spend 3 hearts to gain 2 hope. You're here. There's nothing to fear. I seem to remember you had a better singing voice than that. It's been a long travel. So that puts me back at full hope, that terrible song, and boy, am I going to need it. So I'm a little bit light on symbols. I can't get there directly, but I'm able to get through pretty well what I have. So we're going to spend those 2 for Merry and Pippin to carry our intrepid heroes through the pass over here. I think this is Shelob's Pass. We'll see. And we have 1 troop over here, so that is going to trigger 1 roll. Let's see. That is blank. I will absolutely take it. They are going to go here again, so they have a card that they can discard. So that gets us to the plateau of Golgoroth. And if I had 2 more symbols that I can get through here straight to Mount Doom, but I do not have that. Neither of my characters have that. So we are going to have to take a detour into Barad-dûr. 1 sleeping orc over here is, hopefully we can go ahead and evade them. Wow, my luck is amazing. So this is a bad symbol. Normally out in Middle Earth, it's a good symbol, but this one would have drawn Nazgul back into Mordor, which would have affected the hope roll I need to make. I've been standing here holding my sword up for days. Are you going to come? We haven't gotten an order yet. They're going to pull 2 cards and pass turn. All right, we got 1, 2, 3 once again. So we have a plus in Nirn. Nirn is inside Mordor. And shift to eye to Frodo's region. That is... Boo! Did not want that to happen. They know what's going to happen. The showdown at Mount Doom is nigh. All right, we have Moria. So Moria, shift the eye to Frodo's region once again. Well, actually, I should put the plus in Moria. Just in case you're curious, this is all that is left in the supply. If I pull these 3 and I have to pull again, now I'm going to start to lose hope. That's not that great. Back to here, shifting the eye. The eye is already in Mordor, so I do have a search roll with 1 lazy orc that has been left behind.
Oh! Stop them. They are headed towards the mount. Stop them.
1 Nazgul comes back into Mordor. And 1 more card. We have, again, down here, we are going to put troops in Duneland and move 2 Nazgul closer to Frodo. It's like they know. It's like they know. You're supposed to send troops over to there, and I'm supposed to run under here. And so I had this as the ultimate backup plan, which I thought I was going to have to use at some point, but the cards kind of did favors to me. So this one said, move 1 character to any location. If Frodo's moved this way, move the closest 7 Nazgul directly into the region. So I would have totally done that. But as it turns out, I was able to get my stuff together. Merry and Pippin were real all-stars over there. So especially, healing Doom and having the right symbols. So we are going to move to Mount Doom. What did I say? We're going to move to Mount Doom. I might as well use it since I have it. So we have the 2 rings off of the tokens. We have 3 rings off of cards that I've been patiently pulling. So now I have my 5. There are 3 Nazgul that are in Mordor right now. So let's go ahead and roll our 3. Nothing. Nazgul gets recalled to Mordor so that they can witness me defeat Sauron. Everyone wins the game. I played the standard version of this, so I had as many of the epidemics or Skies Darken as a normal game, not the introductory game. There were 2 of them left. And I got one pretty quickly, so I'll call that a legitimate win. Although I have to say that the card luck, especially so many troops getting added over here and not bothering any of my sites at all, really affected my play. I was able to focus, bring all the characters kind of close together, and pull multiple characters towards the end goal. How useful is it to be able to use other people's turns to move? So it's like, Frodo needs to go, let's carry Merry and Pippin. Merry and Pippin needs to go, let's carry Frodo. So that was really efficient right there. So that is the whole game. Even if you felt that was a little bit easy, there's more Skies Darken that you can add to the deck. And there's also all of these different scenarios. I didn't mention this, but there are true solo rules in the sense that you have one hand. So, you have the one hand, but then you have multiple characters that you are controlling. You kind of rotate between them. Kind of like how it works in World of Warcraft Pandemic, which if you're familiar with that one. If anyone is interested, I can do a playthrough of that one. It's kind of an extra playthrough to demonstrate the solo and show you more of the characters and more of the objectives. I have a feeling I probably wouldn't do nearly as well. I'm also going to have a review pretty soon after I post this one. And that is your full 360 coverage of Fate of the Fellowship, Lord of the Rings. This is Jason with the One Stop Co-op Shop. My name will see you at the next stop.